up? Bill?
It's me, Billy. What's the good news?
As a matter of fact, that was.
No more room in hell. The dead will walk here.
We all cheer for big bottles of beer. Damn, this shit's good. It's the holidays. Merry Christmas from Horror Fiend TV. You're watching Three Corners of Horror. I'm your boy, Ricky Grimes. Once again, back with my two brothers. JR, we'll start with you. How are you, man?
Hey, man, ready to spread some holiday cheer. You guys ready for some Christmas caroling?
Yes. That's like the psychologist, man. Happy holidays, brother. How are you?
Happy holidays. Yeah, my choice is if you ain't got the cheer, well, you're about to go down.
Oh, shit. Yeah. We're going to be talking about something special today. If you like horror and if you like Christmas, we got the show for you. Christmas and horror is two entities that quite don't always match, but if done well, it could be something really, really special. We're going to start with JR, my boy, the man of the hour. Tell us, what we discussing first, son?
I mean, if you look at my background, I mean, let's go back to the little story. Joe, remember this? Back in 1984, we were hanging out at our cousin's house, and we were like, hey, let's go to the movies. Now, this is going to show our age off, but we took a stroll, went to this movie theater, and for $1, we watched Gremlins.
Yep.
1984. And people don't think this is a horror movie. This is a horror movie.
And a Christmas movie.
Yes.
Well, I'm not going to cut him off, but go ahead, Jared.
And the funny thing is, this movie, I think what people don't realize, if you look back on it, actually was one of the first movies to actually set rules on how to survive. Because it set the rules for Gizmo. Do not feed him after 12. Bright light. Keep him away from water. Bright light. So it actually laid the groundwork for the rules in horror and survival in a way, which is kind of ironic. But and let's not forget, it had the beautiful Phoebe Cates, who her stories in this one. Phoebe,
yeah, it's Phoebe,
phobia.
Phoebe.
What?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Even her
OCD in me, bro. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Hey, man. Even like the story she would tell in this one was kind of grim, dark, and I mean, this movie had it all. I mean, it had the comedy, it had the cute Gizmo, had the father, trying to do something for his son, and basically the son went crazy, and had Corey Feldman.
Yeah,
he was in it. Yep.
Right.
I mean, what do you guys think of the Gremlins?
I mean, I put in my notes, but I love that you brought up that we went and saw this in the theaters. And when we went and saw this in the theaters, I thought we were going to go see Gizmo. And then you introduced the Gremlins. You're like, what the fuck? Now, mind you, truthfully, I don't know for you, JR. Like when you see it now and they show the Gremlins and they play the soundtrack, which is more funny.
Yeah.
It does seem funnier now, but when you were younger and you saw that, you didn't pay attention to the soundtrack part. And it was like Gremlins. So I didn't look at it like it was a little bit horror. Like I wasn't expecting that this cute, like I was going to go see Gizmo and they turn into these ugly little Gremlins and it's this whole horror movie. But, and I love the old lady scene when she gets on her, what do you call those? The chairs.
The chair that goes
wheelchair
up.
on the
Which I guess for many of you older fans, I guess if she was Alice, so she was on the show Alice. But yeah, that was something I just found out this year. But yeah, this for me is actually this kicks off my holiday season because I play this on Halloween because it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
And I play for Christmas. So this is like one of those rare movies that you play in 2 different holidays because it fits in there. But this is up there.
Yeah.
Love this movie.
What I love about Gremlins is it does play for comedy, but when it wants to get scary, because you have that comedy, your guard is kind of down. So when the Gremlins start fucking people up, like you mentioned the old lady on the... I love the guy. Oh my God, forgot his name. Forgive me, but the guy from Terminator. And of course, the great Dick Miller shows up in this film. Oh man, I felt bad for him too. That's what I'm getting at. That there is a place for comedy, but the horror scenes, even though the Gremlins are comical, it's not like, let's say, Shaun of the Dead, which is a comedy, but the zombies are played straight, where the characters around them are the comical part. Here, the Gremlins provide most of the comedy, the way they sound, their little mischievous behavior and shit like that.
But it's actually not. It's the soundtrack. It's the soundtrack.
Yeah.
When I was watching,
Soundtrack is like amazing.
I just watched this the other day. So at work, like I said, I'm a sleep tag. So we reach a point where at the end of the night we have like 2 hours where everybody's not going to bother you. So I've been making my other texts. I'm like, I got to do these movies. So can we watch this? So we did Gremlins, and I realized, like, if you were to put horror sounds when the Gremlins are being all like aggressive, it would be different. But they play this comical.
That's the best part.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. So now, as I've gotten older, I realize that like they're like they do this like, and you're like,
and the whole time, the victims' faces are like petrified. They're scared.
It is.
Fuck, and you got this Johnny-go-lucky going on.
You got the 2 cops, and then what's his name? Billy, played by Zach Galligan, tells them, "Look, there's these creatures out there," and they go out there, and there's the dude dressed like Santa getting attacked. What's wrong with him? Hey, there's this guy. He dressed like Santa every year, and they just sit in the car. This was getting attacked by like 3 Gremlins, man.
Yeah,
they sit in the car. This was like, come on, man, you gotta go. I mean,
they're gonna fucking leave.
They fuck you up though. They can fuck you. And this is the bad part about me personally. I felt so bad when the Gremlins would get killed. Like when the lady shoved the guy in the microwave.
Oh, that was the
no
part. Listen, the badass person in this movie is Billy's mother.
Yeah, she was.
Billy's mother took out.
She's a fighter, bro.
I want to say 4 Gremlins.
Awesome scene.
Yes.
Yeah,
awesome.
because it was 5 that came out of Gizmo.
Yeah.
Spike was the only one that survived.
Yeah.
So she took out 4 Gremlins. Yeah. So she was a badass in this movie. But yeah, when she did the blender, the microwave.
I hate it. I'm like, no. You better throw a cat in there. That's all I was.
But tell me you get a little pump when you see Stripe going into the YMCA.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He jumped in the water. Like,
you knew what was gonna happen.
Well, it's funny because they don't even know about, like, they just got born, but they know about going like this. He's going down. He's covering his nose.
Hey, JR, when you saw Gremlins 2, how excited were you when you saw Hulk Hogan pop up in the theater?
That was funny, man.
As a kid,
it wasn't too bad.
As a kid, you were probably like, "Oh yeah," but now you're like, "This fucking guy, get him out of here."
So you know what I like about Gremlins 2 is the one that starts talking and sounds like the psychologist. That's my favorite of the Gremlins.
I'm
Gremlins
Daffy.
2.
That's me. I'm more like Daffy.
Is that the one with the crazy eyes?
Yeah. Dick Miller's character was Murray.
Yeah.
Murray.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's weird because it looked like Murray and his wife died in the first one, and then they go visit him in New York, and then end up fighting the gargoyle gremlin. And anyway, that's another one we can talk about.
Uzi 9mm. Hey, buddy, you know your stuff.
Murray. Murray's time to go home. You gotta watch out with those gremlins. They're everywhere. They're bringing them in.
Well, by the way, hold on. So if you didn't know this though, because when he mentioned the Gremlins thing, so Gremlins originated, at least for me, in the Twilight Zone with the William Shatner episode where the Gremlins were on the plane, which in the Twilight Zone movie was then played by John Lithgow, who talked about the Gremlins. And when you looked at the Gremlins in the John Lithgow, It was pretty close to the
Oh, yeah.
Gremlins, and
As a kid, I always thought that was a Green Goblin on that fucking plane. You know?
oh no, I always thought
I don't know why. I just thought
Gremlins.
that. As
I
a
always
kid.
thought Gremlins.
As a kid, my brother was like, "Look, that's a Green Goblin." My naive ass was like, "Oh, the Green Goblin's in this movie." I was scared of that. That episode with Shatner, I was afraid of that.
I love that one.
It's amazing.
But it's great, like how you can tie all these things in. Like
Yeah.
when I think
Gremlins.
it was Steven Spielberg who came up. with
Zemeckis
right?
did Gremlins, right? Robert Zemeckis, who directed you?
I thought it was this is
Come on,
Spielberg.
brother. This is
No,
your
actually-
film, son.
Nah, Joe Dante directed this one.
Joe Dante, yes, Joe Dante. Good, all right, you're right.
Oh.
Good shout. Yeah, you're right. You're right. We're all wrong. All right, Joe. What's up, son? What you got for us?
All right, so for me, my friend Nicole had she came
Shout
over.
out, Nicole.
Shout out to Nicole. She brought this movie, and it was Krampus, and I'm like, it's probably gonna be fucking stupid. And she put this movie on. I mean, I'm hoping you guys are gonna love it as much as I did, but I fucking loved it. I mean, first of all, she put it on. It had Toni Collette, which is a horror, like she's been in a lot. Adam Scott, who's comedy, but I love Adam Scott. Allison Tolman, if you don't know who she is, she's pretty much up and coming, but by then it was one of her first. And Conchetta Farrell, been around for a long time. This movie was folklore. It was families getting together and not wanting to get together and talking shit about
Everyone
each
can
other.
relate to that.
So it was like literally like the Christmas you didn't want to go to, but you were forced to go to. And as a kid, we all remember those Christmases we were all forced to go to with our cousins. I love all my cousins, by the way. But anyway, sometimes those cousins you didn't want to go over there. So yeah, this movie was so much fucking fun. You had like killer toys. You had the folklore of Krampus, and Krampus was in what was the name of the one we did last year for Christmas?
A Christmas Horror Story.
Christmas Horror
Christmas
Story.
Horror Story. And I told you guys, I've been telling you guys for over a year about Krampus. But I love this one. The gingerbread man are my favorite part.
I love when the dog Rosie ate it.
The killer toys are fucking awesome. So
That robot was dope.
Yeah.
that was gonna be my fucking background.
I want him. I want him.
Well, you know what it made me think of was of the and of course the name's gonna escape you now.
Toy Soldiers.
No, Junior, the puppet one.
Puppet Master.
Puppet Master.
Oh
It made
my
me think
God.
of Puppet Master. But so I made my coworker watch this. I'm like, I want you to watch this movie. So I put it on. She's like, oh, this movie's cute. I'm gonna watch it with my kids. I'm like, no, you're not. And then when Beth got killed, she goes, yeah, so my kids are not gonna watch this.
Chill. 1 second. Nobody dies in this film. Okay.
Okay.
But
They do.
we'll get to that. We'll get to
okay.
that. Hey, do you know why? It's even better that no one died in this film. And I'll let you explain that.
But like I said, it was
No, it's good.
I guess it was because normally I find horror movies and somebody brought something to me that I didn't know anything about. And then I'm watching it and I'm like, this is fucking awesome.
It
like,
makes it more special, right?
yes. So
Yeah.
this right here is one of my standards for the holidays. Like that's how much I loved it. I mean, it's Toni Collette. I mean, you can't do any wrong with her. But yeah, when I saw it was available on Peacock, by the way, if you have Peacock, it's streaming on Peacock, right? Is it Peacock?
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, so even Rick was like, it's about time because I've been telling them about it. It's just not been available, and we finally have it available. So, what'd you guys think?
So I'll go first on this one if you don't mind, JR. All right, so for me, I just saw this film for the first time before we did this.
Really?
Not like now, but this past week. And I worked at a retail store, and we used to always sell Krampus every Christmas. And you buy an item, you get Krampus for $5. And I always saw it, and I saw it's PG-13. I'm like, oh, it's a kids movie, so I never had interest. I don't PG-13 horror. I don't do unless it's like Hocus Pocus, where it's meant to be, you know. But if a movie's supposed to be horror, like, but it's PG-13, I stay away. But it ain't always like you can't go by that always. And I learned with Krampus, this film.
Yeah.
I had so much fun watching
Yay.
this movie, and this is my first watch. The first thing I noticed when I first popped, well, I didn't pop it in. This isn't fucking 15 years ago.
When you started it.
The cast, I'm like, I see Tony Collette, obviously Adam Scott. Then was okay, but now Adam Scott's coming up. He's like he's doing more serious stuff now. And Jr., your boy's in it. Come on, you know who I'm talking
David
about.
Kochner, man.
Yeah, I didn't say his name because I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah, and I forgot the lady. Oh, she passed away a few years ago.
Conchetta Farrell.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I mentioned her. Like she's awesome in this fucking movie.
Yeah. So immediately I was like, wow, okay. And I see Michael Dougherty directed it. This is before he did Trick or Treat. So I'm like, okay, we got some stars in here. All right, cool. So yes, did not disappoint you. Michael Dougherty's hands were all over this. You could tell. And when I watched it, I had to do research. He said he was okay with the PG-13 rating because he knew he was going to go all out for Trick or Treat for that hard R. So
that's awesome.
And it's PG-13. Again, I mentioned before, Joe, there's no killing in this movie, right? But the fate that the characters endure, in my opinion, is worse than death. So that's just fucking dark, bro. That ending I was like,
yes, thank
dope.
you.
Dope. And this reminded me a lot of Army of Darkness in a way, with the gingerbread people and the puppets and the robots and the elves and all this random shit. And of course, Krampus he shows up way late into the film, but when he's chasing the girl, again, I just saw this. What's your name? Beth. And he's jumping from house to house, and holy shit, what a badass that was, man.
Which is why when we did the one, I know I just asked you.
A Christmas Horror Story.
Horror Story.
The only reason it was because they made him white. However, the way they made him in this movie,
he was wearing someone's face, wasn't he?
For me,
yes, I'm pretty
it
sure.
Looks like, because if you look, you can see his eyes, and it's not like it's not connected.
Just that.
It's not connected to his face. It looks like he's wearing. But however, this is like what I imagine Krampus to look like. Not like Krampus in the movie that we watched, which is why I told you guys you have to watch this movie. Like, but yeah, and anyway, go ahead.
And I like that they kept it to like its Austrian roots, because the Omi, the grandmother, she's tied. Definitely this family, because their last name. What's their last name? I forgot, but it's got Austrian roots, so they wanted to keep it at least, traditional, because Krampus in Austria, they fucking celebrate that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
definitely.
Yeah. So
with you mentioning that, did you appreciate the animation?
Yeah, bro, I love that part.
So did
I. She's telling her backstory.
I had it in my notes, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna wait for a minute.
Yeah. Well, you know me, I love animation.
I know, but when it did the anime, I love the animation part.
That stop motion type.
Yes, it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, but long story short, I really enjoyed. I saw it with my girlfriend, and she loved it more than I did. I think she was all into this film. It's just because you can relate to it, like you said. You can invite your family over. No one's gonna get along, but when Adam Scott's character is telling, listen, we don't always gotta like each other, but we're family. We're there for each other. So. And the fact that I thought the kids were, okay, he's gonna be all happy, but he's like, nah, fuck this. He still ripped the fucking letter and threw that shit out. Like, good for you. Fuck that shit.
All right, well, movie killer. Did you like this one?
I'm surprised you guys didn't see this. This is basically Christmas Vacation horror.
Yeah.
David Kochner plays basically Cousin Eddie.
Cousin Eddie. Yo, good show. I didn't know that.
Adam Scott is basically Clark. Tony Collette, basically, Beverly D'Angelo's character. I mean, they take Christmas Vacation, they wrap it up into, horror with the folklore. Now, if you're a fan of Office, Dwight celebrated this too in the Christmas episode.
Krampus?
Yeah, but he said the whole name.
What's the
Krampus
whole
is
name?
not really the whole name.
I don't watch The Office, so you have to let him.
Well, it's funny because you said that, JR, because
His real name is Krampus Garten. That's the whole
nice.
name,
Okay.
Krampus Garten. And there's an episode in The Office where Dwight wants to celebrate, basically, German. I mean, Austrian is German as well, German type, Christmas.
Yeah.
And he
Yep.
brings that up. But yeah, no, I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, holy shit, this is Christmas Vacation. I mean, David Costner plays a perfect a-hole. I mean, the dude plays a perfect a-hole.
He became likable, though.
But he's all his roles. He's like that.
But even when he became likable, he was still an asshole.
He's an a-hole, but
Nah,
it was a good story. I love folklore. And Rick, you're right. That was for me. That was the best scene in the whole movie. When the girl's walking and you have that blizzard all of a sudden,
Awesome.
Krampus just starts chasing her. That was
awesome. Yeah.
And somebody did die in this film. The guy in the truck that was
Oh,
frozen.
yeah.
Well,
You know,
not just
I
him, but actually, and her boyfriend's family.
Yeah.
I felt bad for that guy because he was all talking about he's all pumped and excited for Christmas and his family time and all.
Yes.
He's like,
Well,
he's proud of his job and stuff. And
so Junior, when I made the correlation between Christmas Vacation and this one was when the tree burned.
Yeah.
When the tree burned, I'm like, oh my god, it's fucking a horror version of a Christmas Vacation.
No, it is.
Well, good. I'm glad you guys finally got the chance to check it out.
last but not least, now we started with Gremlins, which was a great, fun movie for the whole family. Yes, I still think families could enjoy this film.
Yes.
Awesome flick. Now, Krampus kind of went, it's a family flick, but it has dark moments in it. So there's scenes in it that may not be always suitable for everyone. But now we're going to go into my territory, Ricky Grimes' territory. We're taking it back to 1974. Now, everyone always talks about Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween. I do. I fucking love that movie, obviously. But let's take it back a little bit further back to 1974. Now, Joe, I'm looking at your hat. Bob Clark. Black Christmas.
You figured it out. You figured it out why I'm wearing it.
Has there ever been a director that has directed something like Black Christmas and pivoted to Porky's and then did a complete U-turn and landed on A Christmas Story? Has that ever happened before? Where the director that's done three totally separate films in three separate genres, and each and every single one of these films are fucking fantastic.
They are.
We're talking about Bob Clark from the very beginning of this film, Black Christmas. The tension builds right from the jump because you see a POV shot heading into the sorority house. Now, what I love about this film is it's not a teenage film. It's a slasher film in a sense, and it's also one of the early home invasion films. This, to me, in my opinion, is a home invasion horror film.
Yes.
Right from the very beginning. Now, what I love about this film, and I'm going to say it right now, the killer is fucking scary. You never see him, only through shadows and his POV and only his eyes. One eye at that. You only see one eye. He's constantly framed by shadows and clever POV, and the sound of him just breathing and like mumbling to himself. And I just saw this, not watching this again for this video, I noticed, Joe, you're a psychologist. DID, was he suffering from this?
Well,
because I heard a lot of different characters in these phone calls.
Yes.
All right. So now, the one
quick, make it quick. I want to get to my point. I'm asking you questions.
I'll be quick. So in the original one, you didn't get a lot of background into Billy,
and that's what's good.
In the 2006, you got a background into Billy. So Billy himself did go through some shit. So there was this whole Christmas thing that he had and the way that he grew up and his parents. And so, yes, So he could have been mimicking what he had been hearing. You could have been hearing what he heard in his holidays early on.
Yeah.
In those phone calls.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I'll bring up later.
Good.
Hopefully,
No,
hopefully
thank you,
nobody's
because
gonna put the phone calls. I got the phone calls.
I didn't catch on that on this watch. Oh, on my first watch. Now that I see it again, I'm like, oh, okay, this guy's he could be suffering from DID, but I don't want to digress, but the use of sound and the sound design in this film so good. Like just the phone calls you mentioned. I'm not gonna touch on it. I'm gonna let you touch on it. I got stuff written, but I don't. You said it. I'm gonna respect that. But the killer's fucking scary. Has there ever been a film where you just never seen the motherfucker? You don't know what he looks like. Every time you see him, he's perfectly framed in the shadows, like I mentioned before, or like just his POV. Like you never seen a film like that. At least I haven't. And to this day, I've never seen the remakes. I refuse to. I'm sorry. Just don't jump on me if they're good. I don't. The teenage aspect of these films.
I would recommend you to watch 2006.
But, yes, and no story. But I don't listen.
No, not the gory. It gives you the background.
I don't want it though. I don't want it. This is what made this film so good, is that you didn't know anything.
Oh, but I promise you that if you put them together,
but
the movie makes a whole lot of more sense.
Joe, I respect that. But for me, on a personal level, what I love about this film is I don't know any of that. And I don't want to know any of that. I can respect that. Because that's what made this so unique. And then like the cast, they're not teenagers, they're young adults. We got Margot Kidder, right? She's in this
Lois Lane.
Lois
motherfucking Lane.
The best part about it, she plays a drunk.
She's a bitch.
Yes,
she's a fucking bitch.
She's so adorable as Lois Lane in here.
Yeah,
you're like, but again, like and that's just even the male actors, like the Chris, Peter, all these guys, they don't act like teenagers, they're young adults, they're college students, and that's what this film. That's the strength in this film, is the cast of characters. Then you got John Saxon, the great John Saxon.
Where is he from?
Nightmare on Elm Street, obviously.
Oh my God!
Come on,
Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon. Yes. Enter the Dragon. Yes.
Yep.
Horror though.
He was also in Masters of Horror, John Carpenter's Pelts. If you haven't seen that, stop what you're doing. Go on Screenbox if you don't have it. I have it because I watched Terrifier 2. It's amazing. But Masters of Horror is a great series, which was on Showtime. Each episode is directed by not all of them, but when they first started, an established director. John Carpenter got 2 entries. Pelts, starring Meatloaf from all people, is in it, and John Saxon again, excellent. But here, great. When the reveal comes that the killer is actually in the house,
still,
and when he finds it out, it's so subtle. When he got the phone call, no, the call's coming from within, but the look on his face when he figures it out, like, oh shit, like that's enough for me. Like, oh my God, thank you. Like that was such a great reveal because we knew he was in the house, but you would think to yourself, all right, if we know the reveal ain't gonna be shit, but just the subtle look on his face, and shit was gonna hit the fan. Loved everything about that. Again, the transitions are subtle but fucking excellent. I mean, I've never seen transitions like this. I mean, what I mean is when one scene could end, right, and it transitions to the other scene, whether it's somebody screaming or it's always blends perfectly into the next scene somehow, but it doesn't hit you over the head with it like they're doing some fancy transitions because they can do it. A lot of people do that in horror movies because they could do a fancy transition, they do it, but here it made sense and it was so subtle. I didn't catch it until the third watch. I've seen this movie plenty of times. I fucking love Black Christmas. So I'm like, oh, right. I didn't catch that transition. Good shit. And you could tell it's a Bob Clark film. It's a Christmas movie, and the brilliance of this film as a horror, Christmas music could be fucking scary. I don't know about you guys.
Yes.
Some of those scenes,
because when they play, they play Christmas music during killing scenes.
Yes. Even the opening sequence, they're playing that Christmas music, but it's haunting. It's not Jingle Bells or anything like that. It's that
No. Yeah.
those Yuletide, those scary hymns. Like, bro, amazing.
Those Catholic Christian songs.
Yeah, and the lead character, Jess, she was a very likable character, and again, her and her boyfriend, a little side story with the. It's crazy because what we're going.
I got the side story part.
Yeah, what we're going through now with the abortion and shit like that.
No, I got that part right there.
So anyway,
but that's Olivia Hussey.
Yeah, man, she was. It's funny because they're all American in this sorority house, and she's like, where's she from? England?
Actually,
where's she from?
No, Junior, we'll
New
talk
Zealand?
first. No, Junior, I'll let Junior talk, and then it's going to be my turn. Well, I'll bring up why they're from where they're from.
You don't know.
Right.
I got no.
Well, let's go. Joe, talk to us, man. So
no, it's JR.
I fucking love this movie. I fucking love Black Christmas because the killer is unique. You don't see him, and the phone calls are fucking creepy. And Joe, I'll let you talk about that.
When I saw this movie, all I thought as a found footage fan, the killer scenes were pure found footage,
wasn't it?
It was pure found footage, and the only time you actually seen him, and you mentioned the eye.
That's it.
The eye was discolored, like he was possessed.
Yeah,
which
you
I
always saw him peeking through the shadows, or when he.
But the fact that it was reddish, but it was just totally different.
So cool.
And the funny thing is, like 5 years later, they made When a Stranger Calls, which kind of is a ripoff of this, if you think about it.
It is, and it's not though. A Stranger Calls is a classic on its own.
It is a classic, but
I agree.
It takes a bit from this movie, but yeah, I mean,
that's okay though. That's okay.
I liked it because two is the kills were cool, and the fact that you didn't see much of it.
No, yes,
you realize it was still brutal because the way he grabbed him, I forgot what it was. The name was it Miss Mac who's. Went to that to go look. He's turning around. He's just waiting.
He's just waiting.
She turned around. She stared for a while, which made it even better because then he's still holding it, and she's like screaming. I was like, all right, I'll let it go now. But those scenes, yeah, I mean, for me, I like the killer scenes. I like the POV of it. Definitely a lot of found footage aspects of it, and the fact is, she killed the wrong person, and the killer survived.
Yeah.
And he still lived in the house, which was freaking good because
it
baffled me because they're saying, where could he be? Where could he be? And not one person thought about going to the attic.
I'm sorry. I got to cut you off because when I saw this again now, the cops are outside at the end. If they look up at the fucking window, they can see a dead body.
Yeah.
Chilling there. Mind you, that body was with the entire fucking force to this fucking.
And only one person saw that body.
Yeah. She got
killed. She got destroyed. But yeah, for me, I like the aspect of it. I like the fact that it played around. If you look at the whole thing with Scream, I mean, you thought Billy was the killer. Billy was portrayed as a killer. And this one, the boyfriend, you thought he was a killer. In reality, he wasn't. You know, he was just an a-hole.
This movie was highly influential. Trust me.
So yeah, a little bit of everything. But yeah, I mean, it was the first time I actually watched it. I told Rick, and yeah, I enjoyed it. Definitely. If this was to have been remade perfectly, they should have did found footage.
Jared, watch it when you get a chance, though. Watch it again.
I'm going to watch it again.
When I saw it again, even now, oh my god, even now I'm discovering new things about this film.
No, and the voices. I mean, like the whole conversation she had.
Oh, it's interesting, right? You want to be like, what's he saying?
Yeah, I mean, I would be like, yo, so what's up, man? What we talking about?
You could tell it's a 1974 film because the language they're using, especially around kids.
Yeah. It was a good movie. Yeah. John Saxon is the man.
I love that fucking man. R.I.P. What up, Joe?
So Rick, you brought up my hat. So yeah, Bob Clark did this movie, and this is one of those horror movies that is ahead of its time. Honestly, because I bitched to you guys left and right. I hate any political or social commentary that is thrown in my face. This movie came out right before, actually around Roe versus Wade, which you dealt with the abortion as far as Jess. All right. When Jess basically kills her boyfriend, they drug her up and then put her upstairs. And if you pay attention, they're checking out that cop. And they go, we need to take him in. Oh, she's good. She's going to be out for like 5 hours.
Yeah. He wanted to
5
question
hours.
him.
So when you watch this movie more and more, I watched it last night. I made Robert, my coworker. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm doing my episode. Can we watch Black Christmas? I love that movie. And I played for it. He goes, this is the original. Yeah, no, it is. I thought you were gonna play two. No. I do original. But this movie was so far ahead of its time.
Way ahead of his, even to this day, brother.
It is. So, and I honestly, props to Eli Roth, because I learned this on watching when he talks about it, is the fact that in the ending, as you said, they leave Jess there, one cop who's outside having a fucking cigarette. The phone rings again. Meanwhile, the bodies are upstairs. He's still upstairs.
Yeah.
He's fucking like,
He's
they
still
didn't
there.
kill. Yeah, he's there. And they've left Jess comatose. She can't even get up to defend herself. So if he comes down, this movie was like, I'm glad he brought it up, because I thought like Silent Night, Deadly Night is one that for the holidays, neither of us three brought it up. But this movie is a masterpiece for
it is.
Christmas.
100%.
This is
horror
the Christmas
in general.
Yeah,
Well, and then he goes and does a Christmas story.
Yeah.
So and then he shows us the horror of being a child.
Yeah.
With the coats.
Before that, he did Porky's in between.
He did Porky. I love
Like,
Porky's. Dude,
yeah,
Porky's.
yeah.
Porky's. Listen, you woke culture motherfuckers.
They can never get
Stay away from Porky's.
Yes.
If you come after Porky's,
Yeah,
three
bro.
corners may come after you.
This is what I'm saying. Like in this Black Christmas, when I guys on the phone talking about, I'll be like your cunt.
Okay, that phone call.
Like
So
he kept saying it over and over. Like this shit won't fly today.
it was when I was with you before we went out to Comic-Con that Beto played Eli Ross thing, and it was the holiday special, and they were talking about the phone call, and then I rewatched it.
Yes.
And I heard that, and I put the volume up.
Yes, it was creepy.
And I'm
right?
like, oh my God, they would not play this right now.
No.
Like-
Like that phone call was so incoherent for the most part.
Yeah.
But the very last thing he said, I'm gonna kill you.
Yes.
He said it clear as day, bro. And I was like,
I'll come over and you can suck it. Suck it.
Listen, you pervert, why don't you go over to Lambakai? They could use a little of this.
Oh, no, piggy cunt. You want my fat cock too?
Oh, why don't you go find a wall socket and stick your tongue in it? That'll give you a charge.
I'll stick my tongue up your pretty pussy.
You fucking creep!
I'm going to kill you.
December 22nd, next week, end of the year's live stream. We're going to be choosing, yes, our top 3 horror films of 2022. And God, this year has been fucking hard to choose because we had a fantastic year in horror.
Yes.
Guys, I don't know about y'all. I'm still working out my list. I still
I
got a
haven't
couple
figured
movies to
mine out,
watch
actually. I've not
before I
figured mine out.
decide. I'm Ricky fucking Grimes. Merry Christmas. JR, the boss man. Joe, the psychologist. Thank you. Come back next week for our live stream. We are the 3 corners of horror. Horror Fiend TV, YouTube. Give us that subscribe, like our video, and most of all, stay scared.
And Merry fucking Christmas.